Hello everybody, my name's Eric and I'm part of the suspension team and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use Altair Hyperworks to design suspension. Specifically, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use the assembly wizard to assemble front, rear, or whole car suspension, to modify that suspension, to run simulations, and to plot graphs and hopefully interpret those graphs in order to design our suspension. So the first thing you're going to need to install is Altair Hyperworks. If you need a license key, either message me, Michael, or send a message in the suspension channel on the Discord, and someone will get back to you and we'll get you a license key. You get an email, and you just need to install the whole Hyperworks suite. In addition to that, in the Formula Google Drive, under the Suspension Hyperworks folder, install the Baja FSAE libraries, and unzip that. So you're going to start with a motion view file, create a new session, and the first thing you need to do is set your assembly paths for the wizard. So you're going to go in the top left and click on Assembly, and under Wizards Assemble, you're going to click on the Paths button in the bottom right. And for Assembly Wizard file, you're going to select the Complib Model Wizard from the Baja FSAE libraries. For the Task Wizard file, you're going to select the Complib Task Wizard file from the same folder. And for the wizard directory, you're just going to select that whole folder. I think you have to click User Custom Library before either of those. All right. After you set those up, you're going to generate your front suspension. So you're going to click on the model button or on the wheel. You're going to click Formula, front, rear, or full vehicle. Full vehicle will be for later on in the process. We're going to start with just the front for this video. There's no options for these. And now you have front suspension in Hyperworks. So now we're going to run a kinematics and compliance analysis on this. So you're going to click on the bottom, the little road under the tire you clicked on before. Here we have options for different types of analyses. We're going to use kinematics and compliance analysis, but all of these do have a purpose. When we set up the kinematics and compliance analysis, we have a whole bunch of parameters that we could adjust. These we need to decide on. We'll discuss this over the next meeting, and we need to decide on estimated parameters for some of these. These are just for the actual testing. And under the Analyze tab, under Analysis Settings, we see our kinematics and compliance analysis, and we can pick between different analyses. So now from here, I'm going to show you how to modify the suspension. So, for example, if I want to move this upper ball joint forward by 15 millimeters, I'm going to click on the Data Summary tab up here. And here we have the option to move a whole bunch of things. So under the Points tab, I'm going to find the upper ball joint. And since we're on the x-axis and we want to go in the negative direction, we're going to type at the end of this minus 15. And as you saw, the upper ball joint just moved 15 millimeters forward. So we could apply that. So in this data summary section, we could also define masses for different components. We could define the rack and pinion ratio, bushing parameters, joints, the springs and dampers. And from this is what really makes up our suspension. You could export this or import it. So if I came up with a suspension design that worked really well, I could export this and send this to someone else, and we could all be working on the same data. All right. So from here, once you made your change, and now you want to run a simulation to see how that affected things, you're going to click on the Run button, or under Analysis Settings, click on the one you want and hit Run. We're using the kinematics and compliance analysis. So I'm not going to go really into depth about interpreting these graphs, as it's not really in the scope of this video. That is something that we all need to understand, and realistically the only way to understand these graphs is to do a lot of research and have a very good understanding of vehicle kinematics and dynamics, understanding camber, caster, toe, Ackerman, kingpin, inclination, all of those things and how they affect each other. It gets really in depth, but it's out of the scope of this video. So once you run your simulation, you'll get a check up here. and you're going to click on the Reports tab. The second one, Standard Report Model, and hit OK. And this is going to take all of our reports that were just run, all of our data from our reports, and it's going to plot them as graphs. So it's going to bring us over to Hypergraph. And over here, we can modify parameters of our graphs, like the title, the axes, whatever. And under Session, we could go back to our motion view file. This is our front suspension. And either on the left here or in the top right, you could click between the different graphs. As you can see, some of these look good, some of these do not look good. So interpreting these is something that takes a bit to learn, but by even just messing around, moving things, seeing what changes, you could get an idea of what is going on. So from here, if you want to export this into a PDF or into a presentation, you click session report and hit export. And from here, it's going to take all of these slides and put them on slides. And from there, we could analyze what's going on. In Hypergraph, you can analyze graphs together, but it's kind of complicated, and overlaying the graphs doesn't really work too well. If someone can figure it out, I would love to use that, as it would definitely improve our workflow. But for now, using PowerPoint, we have all of our different graphs here, and we could combine presentations and put graphs next to each other and use this in the suspension design process. So that's going to mark the end of this tutorial. If anyone has any questions on how to use the software, on anything said in this video or anything in the future, just send me a message on Discord, send a message in the suspension channel. All of us are willing to help you guys out, because we would love to get the suspension done as soon as possible, because we need suspension for a working car. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope that it was informative and not too long. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching, and have a good one.